Hello, everybody, and welcome to the X Factor with the Crypto Hipster, episode 36, the week ending April 21st, 2023. It is a lovely day where I am. The sun is out. It's warm, sunny, beautiful. And we're going to kick things off for the X Factor with the Crypto Hipster, where I bring you news, insights, and analysis from around the world of cryptocurrency and blockchain technology. And I'm super excited for our show today. And let's start off with talking about a research report. Okay, and this research report was done by CoinGecko, and CoinGecko is the leading platform where you track all the crypto tokens and everything. They have analytics, and they have all kinds of awesome stuff. And they did a 2023 Q1 crypto industry report. And that report, says they've highlighted some of the key highlights in a 44 slide deck. And anybody who has the CoinGecko app can download this report. And it's really an amazing report. And this is their assessment. And we'll see if you agree with it. And let me know your thoughts. The crypto market is off to a strong start, rallying 48.9% to 1.2 trillion so far this year. It rallied from $406 billion increase in quarter over quarter, and average trading volume also picked up, having increased 30%, which is pretty cool, to 77 billion. So the first quarter is doing well. Second point that they have on this report is Bitcoin outperformed traditional asset classes, posting a 72.4% gain. Well, Bitcoin's outperformed a lot of traditional asset classes over the past decade and a half. That's not a surprise, but 72.4% gain is a great size gain. And I only see that continuing to rise. And that includes asset classes such as crude oil, gold, TLT, DXY, which Dow Jones, and the Nasdaq. Yeah, so it's by far the best performing asset. And so the third point that they brought up in their report is stablecoins shed 6.2 billion or 4.5%, with USDC and Binance USD being the biggest losers. We knew that that was on decline, but you got to watch out for the government because they're going to create a stable coin, and we'll see how that goes. And not just the U.S. government, but every government. So we'll see how that goes. The fourth point is that the DeFi, decentralized finance ecosystem, rose 65.2% by 29.6 billion, buoyed by the liquid staking sector rising 210.9%. That includes oracles, lending, insurance, liquid staking, derivatives, DeFi exchanges, fixed interest, asset management. That whole area is booming. So, despite the contrary that big institutions wish you to believe otherwise, it's booming. Number 5, NFT trading volume saw a resurgence to 4.5 billion, with Blur flipping OpenSea as the top NFT marketplace. Blur passed it. Yeah, the Blur had a great quarter, and market share of the top 6 NFT marketplaces include Blur at 71.8%, OpenSea at 21.7%. So not just passed them, they passed them. They passed them. And then number 6, crypto spot trading volume has been up 18.1%, reaching 2.8 trillion in Q1, with DEXs outpacing centralized exchanges in quarterly growth. And this is a 44-page report on Q1 of the industry, and I suggest everybody read this because it's great insights, and CoinGecko has also some amazing plugins too if you use them for building and stuff like that. Okay, North America. Let's go to North America. My show has been synonymous with bashing and trashing Gary Gensler. And guess what? We're not going to do that today. Nah. You know what? This is not a bash and trash show. And I learned something when I was a little boy. My mom used to tell me, if you don't have anything nice to say about somebody, don't say it. And I've been guilty. And I apologize to my listeners. But today, we're not going to bash and trash. I'm going to let everybody else in the industry bash and trash because they all watched Congress depose them. So that's going to be enough of that out of me. Let's talk about something else. Over half of Americans fear major impact by artificial intelligence on workers, according to a survey. Let's see here. Nearly 2/3, 62% of Americans think implementing artificial intelligence in the workplace will have a major impact on American workers within the next 20 years, leaving many employees wary and worried about what their future holds. I'll be 72 then, so hopefully I won't be working. But if I am, God bless. So, on an April 20 Pew Research report found 56% of the 11,004 adults surveyed in the U.S. said that AI would have a major impact on the U.S. economy as well. Another 22% believed AI will impact the economy to a minor degree. Only 13% of participants believe AI will help more than hurt American workers, whereas 32% thought the opposite. The rest of the participants predicted AI will equally help and hurt American employees or were unsure. All right. Well, what do you think? What do you think? What's AI going to do? You can use it for good. You can use it for bad. You can use it as an assistant. You can use it as a competitor. How are you going to use it? And what's that going to be the path for you? And I got to think that the same thing for me, too. What am I going to use it for? And let me know your thoughts. And we're going to leave the U.S. right now. Like I said, I'm not going to bash the trash. And if I don't have anything nice to say, I'm not going to say it. And, there really isn't too much nice to say right now about the bull crap that's going on in the U.S. in the crypto space. But let's talk about the rest of the world, why don't we? Okay. 190. We're going to go up to the north to our Canadian neighbors. 190 billion Ontario pension says no to crypto after FTX investment loss. The Ontario Teachers Pension Plan has decided to steer its investment away from cryptocurrencies. The decision comes after the OTPP, which manages over 190 billion in assets, lost the entirety of its $95 million investment in crypto exchange FTX after it went bust. 95 million. Wow. OTPP was one of the many backers of the now bankrupt crypto exchange and had invested twice, once during the bull market in 2021 and again during the exchange's Series C funding round in early 2022. Joe Taylor, OTPP chief executive, said, "We took our time and did a lot of due diligence on the business. It didn't turn out the way we thought. We weren't necessarily shown all the information we needed to know to make a balanced decision." And the pension fund is responsible for offering pensions to over 330,000 teachers and school workers. Let me know your thoughts on the pension plan. Is it wise for a pension plan to invest in FTX, or had invested in FTX? Let me know your thoughts. Okay, we're going to go to South America. Brazilian authorities investigate Binance for guiding clients past stop order. The Binance is under investigation in Brazil by the Brazil SEC and by the Federal Prosecutor's Office and the Federal Police, according to a report in the Valor Econômico newspaper. The cryptocurrency exchange has allegedly been helping clients evade a stop order on cryptocurrency derivative investments. According to a newspaper, the Brazilian Securities and Exchange Commission reported to the Attorney General of the state of Sao Paulo that Binance may have continued to offer crypto derivatives to its clients after the SEC had issued a stop order on those offerings in 2020. Futures contracts are considered securities under Brazilian law, regardless of the nature of the underlying assets. Okay. Yeah. Binance broke the Brazilian law, or did the Brazilian law not comply with Binance? Let me know your thoughts. Okay. We're going to move right along to the pond. Actually, we're going to talk about the European Union first. Then we're going to go to the pond. Industry leaders and policymakers react to the passage of MiCA in the EU. Okay. Through though a crypto-focused framework still needs approval from the European Council before final passage, many in the space have reacted positively to the markets in crypto assets, or MiCA. I actually had an podcast interview yesterday where I talked about MiCA, and you'll learn more about that on Sunday. On April 20th, the European Parliament voted to pass MiCA after 2 delays starting in November. The bill aims to create a consistent regulatory framework for crypto assets among the European Union member states. The EU lawmakers still need to conduct legal and linguistic checks for MiCA, as well as publish the bill in the EU Journal. The policy could go into effect as early as 2024, depending on the European Council vote. Many industry leaders in crypto and policymakers largely lauded the bill's approval. CZ, the CEO of Binance, we're just talking about Binance, suggested he would begin implementing changes to the exchange in the next 12 to 18 months to be in compliance with the potential new framework. There you go. Stand up guy. Stand up. Leader in the industry. Others targeted the U.S. for seemingly falling behind in digital asset regulation. They have. A move that could drive companies to the EU with the implementation of MiCA. Wow. Let me know your thoughts. Are we going to be moving? Are the U.S. going to be moving? Crypto proponents going to be moving to the EU, where it's better regulations, where things make sense, where they're up to date? Or are we going to be watching the Fred Flintstones reruns for ages? Let me know your thoughts there. And now we're going to go to the other side of the pond, to the UK, the United Kingdom. Okay. So UK may have crypto regulation within a year, says the finance minister. Okay. So yeah. So let me know your thoughts on that. So the UK, I'm talking about the UK, may have crypto regulation within a year, says the finance minister. And I already said that, right? The UK could lay out digital asset regulation within 12 months, saying the country wants to capitalize on the benefits that blockchain can bring to the private sector and to the economy. This past Monday, Andrew Griffith, the economic secretary to the UK Treasury, said the long-term vision is to let firms make the most of opportunities from crypto assets with sound crypto regulation. And the UK government is now well positioned to regulate crypto in a pragmatic and proportionate manner. He also appeared to make reference to the UK's exit from the EU. Okay. He said, I think over the next 12 months or so is the window. We've got this great asset in the UK. We've got control back of a rule book, not something the UK has had for decades. So we've got the ability to move in an agile and proportionate way. Agile Very important. Agile is very important. That means that you make up things as you go. Okay. And so hopefully they're not just making crap up, but they're making, things that make good decisions up. And that's going to be the future. And let's see. Let me know your thoughts. How's UK going to fare? What's going on with the Prime Minister? So next up is in Ireland. Kraken has received a virtual asset service provider authorization in Ireland. Okay, that's good news, right? Last time we talked about Ireland, we were talking about cows. Okay, so let's see. Kraken, Payward European Solutions, an Irish subsidiary of Kraken registered in Dublin, was awarded a virtual asset service provider authorization from the Central Bank of Ireland this week. They say, "We are pleased to announce that Kraken has successfully registered with the Central Bank of Ireland as a virtual asset service provider, affirming our commitment to helping drive crypto adoption in Europe." All right. The vast authorization comes at a critical time for Kraken. The EU is scheduled to conduct its final vote on the long-awaited markets and crypto assets regulation. The MiCA legislation is expected to pass after preliminary voting showed overwhelming bipartisan support. If it does, the resulting changes will require any company operating as a CASP, a crypto asset service provider in the EU, to register with one of the union's 27 authorized regulators. Congratulations. That sounds wonderful and amazing. Congratulations to Ireland. And if you hear my dog in the background, she also is extremely excited about this news. All right. So, Bank of Russia. Bank of Russia is to set up crypto entities for crypto mining and cross border settlements. Okay. Russia is taking further steps to mitigate crypto sanctions in place since the invasion of Ukraine in 2022. According to local media reports, the country's central bank plans to create new institutions to mine crypto assets and settle international payments. In a meeting in the State Duma, one of the chambers of the Russian parliament, the head of the central bank, Elvira Nebulina, announced that the Bank of Russia would allow cryptocurrency to be used in external settlements in a pilot program. The move, however, does not signal a change in the country's crypto environment. So, enough of that. Let me know your thoughts, and let's move on to Asia. Okay. First thing we'll talk about Asia is India. Gemini flags big plans for Asia with India hub and regional CEO. Gemini has announced plans to tap into India's pool of top tech talent with the establishment of a new engineering hub in the country. In an April 20 statement, Gemini's global chief technology officer, Pravjit Tiwana, announced the exchange is in the midst of operating an engineering center in Gurgaon, India. It said it would be the exchange's second largest engineering hub behind its hub in the U.S. Heading up to the operation will be Tiwana, who has been appointed as the CEO of Gemini Asia Pacific, in addition to his role as Global Chief Technology Officer. According to a statement by the Winklevoss twins, the exchange has big plans for international growth this year in APAC, starting with the India hub. How's that going to go? Sounds exciting to me. Let me know your thoughts. And we're going to go close by to Hong Kong. Hong Kong court rules cryptocurrencies as properties. Okay. A court based in Hong Kong has acknowledged cryptocurrencies as property that can be held in trust in a ruling involving the defunct crypto exchange Gatecoin. An analysis of the ruling published by the law firm Hogan Lovells, Judge Linda Chan reportedly said crypto has property attributes. The court deemed that it was appropriate to follow reasoning applied by other jurisdictions that crypto was property and could form the subject matter of trust. Very cool. She said that, like other common law jurisdictions, Our definition of property is an inclusive one and intended to have wide meaning. And I bet they're not going back to 1933 definition of property. I bet. I wonder where I've heard that. Okay. However, I heard it somewhere. I don't recall actually where I've heard it. Let me know your thoughts. Where'd you hear it? That crypto should be subject to laws from 1933. I don't know. Okay. Let's talk about ZipMex and Singapore. ZipMex requested a 2-month extension from Singapore court for restructuring. Okay. A ruling from Singapore's High Court originally allowed ZipMex a moratorium until December 2022 to handle debt relief and reported liquidity issues. ZipMex has requested another extension that would allow for a longer moratorium on its debt in Singapore amid the firm's liquidity issues. It said the company said it was currently in negotiations with investors in an attempt to maximize returns for customers following a delay in payments. The firm said its Asia arm had filed a request in Singapore courts to expand its existing moratorium period by 2 months. It will use the extra time to reopen Z-Wallet withdrawals. How's that going to go? What are your thoughts on that? Let me know. And then we're going to go to Sri Lanka because I actually interviewed this company for a podcast a little earlier this year. And the company is called Tuk. And they're all over the world, but they have a big operating presence in Sri Lanka. So that was an amazing podcast. And that podcast will be found on Crypto Hipster podcast, Anchor.fm or Spotify or Apple or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts to learn more about Tuk. But the Capital Maharaja Group is to rev up Tuk in Sri Lanka. The Capital Maharaja Group has joined Tuk on a mission to introduce sustainable transportation powered by blockchain in Sri Lanka. The partnership is set to facilitate the growth of the network through the country starting in 2023. CMG and Tuk, the world's first automated project built on the Cardano blockchain, have entered into a deal that will herald seamless integration of a unique transportation network, with first moves to be made in Sri Lanka's capital, Colombo. This would provide affordable and accessible mass transportation solutions to drivers and passengers whose current travel is disrupted by the rising cost and dwindling supply of fossil fuels across the globe. CMG, the first mover in the private sector across many industries, is held in conglomerate with Sri Lanka. Let me know your thoughts on tuk-tuks, on tuk-tuks in general. Have you ever ridden in a tuk-tuk? I have, and that was in Ho Chi Minh City, and my story is on a podcast about tuk-tuk. Check it out. All right, moving on. Middle East. UAE's federal financial regulator opens licensing applications for virtual asset service providers. The Federal Financial Regulatory Agency of the UAE has announced that it will start receiving licensing applications for firms that want to provide virtual asset services within the country. The Securities and Commodities Authority, SCA, said all virtual asset service providers operating in the country must submit an application and obtain a license from the regulator, with the exemptions of those licensed in the country's financial-free zones. Meanwhile, digital asset companies operating within the Emirate of Dubai will still have to comply with its own financial regulator, the Virtual Asset Services Authority, VARA. These companies must also apply and obtain a license from VARA. In December, the UAE's cabinet issued resolution that regulates virtual assets in an attempt to provide an attractive investment, economic, and financial environment for global companies and institutions operating in the virtual asset sector. From what I've seen, they have. From what I've seen, Dubai is a really booming place for crypto and an amazing place to be. And let me know your thoughts on that. So let's go to Australia. We're moving right along today. Actually, you know what? Let's go to Africa first, then Australia. Crypto exchange Roku has received a South African approval to expand operations. That's a Nigerian crypto exchange, Roku, has been granted that approval. It's going to operate in South Africa and allow users to purchase crypto and withdraw funds with the country's fiat currency, the South African rand. South Africa has been a top priority for Roku as the exchange seeks to expand dominance in the African market. In a previous discussion, an announcement, that company, Roku, announced South Africa as a focal point for its growth plans, which includes reaching 5 million clients in 2023. They also have their sights set on Ghana, Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania. That sounds excitingly exciting. That rhymed, didn't it? Okay, cool. I like to rhyme, and I also like to go down under to Australia. Australian crypto scams. Okay, well, we got to talk about U.S. again. Putting the wrong people into office. Nope, we're not going to go there today. Australian crypto